Managers that we work with always ask us what's the best way to give feedback to their team. It seems that whether the feedback is positive or negative, which is usually viewed as the most difficult, they sometimes get it wrong in terms of the feedback being valuable and useful. Here are our top tips for giving feedback. Feedback as soon as after the event as possible. But remember, praise in public and reprimand in private. And consider why you're giving the feedback. What's in it for you and what's in it for them. And remember to consider the reaction of the individual and how are you going to deal with that. Now to actually giving the feedback. Here is a really simple method called SAID. And here's how it looks. So the SAID model that we've got is S-A-I-D. The S stands for self-assessment. This is where you'd ask the individual, what's going well? Tell me how you're getting on with the project. Ask them what's going well, but also maybe what's not going well. This is their part to self-assess themselves. The next part is A, which stands for acknowledge. It's really, really important that when the individual tells you what's going well or what's not going well, that you acknowledge them. So this is about observation. Yes, I acknowledge, or yes, I've seen what you did on the project. The I stands for the impact part, and this is the really, really important part. When they're going through and telling you what's gone well and what hasn't gone so well, you need to find out what the impact is of that. So you may say something like, what's the impact of that on the team? What's the impact of that on the project? What's the impact of that on the individual? Or sometimes, what's the impact of that on me? The final part of the SAID model is D. This stands for do again or do differently. So when feeding back on positive behaviours, you would ask the individual, what are you going to do again? What are you going to continue to do? If you're feeding back on something that's negative, you're going to ask, what are you going to do differently? The do differentlys are going to turn into actions so that then the feedback will have changed behaviours and changed the way they're going to do things. So after you've finished the SAID process, you may choose to wrap up at the end. Wrapping up is important when you're using the feedback process in an appraisal, or you're feeding back on lots of different things, or you're using it in a monthly one-to-one. The wrap-up at the end is about summarising the actions. So ask the individual, what actions are they going to take out of the feedback session? So that's our guide to giving feedback. Please let us know how you got on when you try it by tweeting us at RedSky Learning or going onto our Facebook page. Thanks very much.